What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. I know crypto's been having a good week. I just want to go over a few things after I discussed what might happen this week in regards to the support levels that I drew out over the last video a week ago when I talked about Ethereum and whether it was going to be moving into a good buying area around the 3,200 Canadian price level, which the lowest range there was about 2,800. Like I said, that's kind of where you wanted to be buying and looking for support. And hopefully if those areas held, we were going to see a rally in the crypto market. So that's what I said in the video last week. So that's after, obviously, over the month we had a pretty nasty downward move. But like I said, 28, and this is based off of previous levels that I had shown before. So when you go back here, you'll see that 28 was kind of the previous resistance levels last year when it had this big ramp up. So that's why I knew that those levels would be kind of your primary areas you wanted to look for support. And over the last month, we kind of came all the way back down into those levels, held those levels, and started to have our nice counter trend reversal move after we had our big, bottoming out bear reversal from the top. So now what I want to talk about is kind of what's going to be happening over the next couple days with Ethereum, and I want to talk about mana and a few other things, but that'll be in another video. But either way, what we're going to look at in the overall entire crypto market is whether we're going to be holding these levels and what levels we need to break through, or whether we're going to be regressing and kind of pulling back. As you look at the overall S&P, what you'll notice is the overall markets are trending to the downside. So this week, as crypto rallied, obviously, we've had this downward move in the entire overall market, along with not just the crypto market, but the equities markets as well. So this is the S&P 500, the SPY, or the Spider. And this here is what we're looking at when we're talking about the overall market and the kind of trend that the market is going towards. So we had this kind of bottoming move and then this big nice move up, and now we've kind of moved down in our flatlining. So the good thing to understand here is that we are on a trend upwards in the overall markets, but at the same time, and this is where we look at a few other market indicators as well, and we see that overall we're getting this kind of bounce and then lower highs, meaning that we're getting an upward trend in the way the markets want to move. So we need to understand that if the markets continue this way and the crypto markets want to move the same, which I think they do, if you look at the overall chart for crypto, we're seeing a very similar move, but a very, a bit of a stronger move, I would say, in the crypto market you're seeing. But these gains are holding up. So now what we want to look for, and I'll show you just on the overall chart so you'll understand, is these levels of 39 and 4,000 to break. So these are our next resistance levels, and as you'll see, we're basically moving right up into those levels. So in the overall chart, what we want to understand is that once it came up into these levels every time before, or even a bit above these levels, it's kind of crashed down. So we've had these big crashes into these levels of 4,000. So we want to understand that if we can break these levels like we did back here in October, then we have a lot of support in these areas, but there's also a ton of resistance. So crypto right now is sitting at resistance as opposed to last week when it was sitting at support. And that's something to understand. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to go higher. I'm just saying that once we do break through something like 4,000, then we can start thinking about 4,000 acting as support rather than resistance, right? But what we really want to see, and the big number here, and this is a number you can kind of clearly see by this overall chart here, and that's the number of 4,200, right? And this is Canadian I'm talking about here. Obviously, when I'm talking about these numbers, they're always Canadian. I don't do really a lot of American prices, only because I am Canadian. So I focus more on the Canadian prices. Sorry if that's not the prices you look at, but either way, you can translate them to your relative currency. But for now, just understand that these levels, if you just look at the chart and see whatever levels these are on your chart, as you look back at them, you'll see that the 4,200 mark, or like 3,700 or whatever American, is acting as your resistance. And if that can be broken, so if this level can be broken, then this is a guaranteed move to the upside in the overall market, crypto, particularly for Ethereum and for Mana, as I'm going to show you in the next video that I put out. So these are the things to understand when you look at these price levels, right? Understand these movements. So if you bought after last week when I told you, hey, is this time to buy Ethereum? It's up. It might be, sitting at good support levels to be buying, and then maybe selling if they can't hold those levels. And what I'm going to tell you this week is that what we want to see here is it hold up at these levels and continuously just try and break through those levels, then eventually break through. And if it can break through 4 and then eventually 42, this is going to be a guaranteed bull move, and we're going to see a lot of movement towards the upside. So those are big time kind of levels that we're looking at and we need to understand. Now, obviously, like I said last week, I was buying more down towards the 3,200 and 2,800 levels, because those are the previous resistance levels and previous, or which are now support levels. So these are things to understand. Sorry if it gets kind of confusing when I go over these levels, but these are things you really got to understand if you want to trade crypto successfully, right? Or these specific levels, because you'll see that if these levels break to either side, whether to the downside, if they can't hold, then they crash. 38 was your support level before. Once it broke here, it crashed all the way down to basically to 2,800, but almost like within 2 days it was down to 3,000. So it lost like 20-30% in 2 days. And that's something to understand about these levels, is that they're so important for investors and for traders to look at and say, hey, if this breaks, I'm going to buy, and then you have that break to the high side. Or if this if this level can't hold to the bottom, to the low side, I'm going to sell. And so we get into these kind of panic situations of people trying to cover their positions on both sides, and that's why you get these imbalances. So what I'm looking for here is for Ethereum to hold these this new move. If you can trace this move to the upside, it's been a pretty explosive move, but we're really seeing this kind of reversal move to the upside, right? Where if this can hold and this trend can kind of continuously start moving upward, then eventually break through 40 or 4,000 and 4,200, we're going to go back to 5 and then back to 6, right? So these are big time levels that can give us huge upsides if we can break them, right? And then we don't have resistance until 46 and then 48 and then on to 6,000. So anyway, that's what you got to understand about Ethereum. Right now it's sitting at resistance levels. If we can break these levels to the upside, and like I said, we've been testing them kind of over the last week. We've kind of gone up into the 39s almost and haven't been able to hold. But these are the levels we need to see it break. These are the levels we need to push through another 300 or 400 onto Ethereum, and we will be above the new resistance levels, and we'll see if we can push this thing to the upside. And obviously, if the overall market starts to tank and these levels can't hold and we push all the way back down to 32, we will look for 32 and 28 to hold as our low end support from previous levels. And obviously, if those can't hold, then we probably want to be getting out, right? These are the things to understand, that if you're buying at 3,000 or 28 and then and you're not selling at these levels here, I recommend, always recommend selling at least half your position if you're up 20-30% in a couple days, because it can easily get taken right back, right? So anyway, that's my thoughts on Ethereum. If we can break these levels to the upside, we can see some big moves. If not, we want to be vigilant and be able to take some of our profits off the table here, and then watch for 28 or 32 to see if they can hold on the low side if we can't break through 39 and then 42. So that's it. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching, and obviously, as always, go to our Etsy store here, SNL Essentials. We got some Mana hoodies, we got some Ethereum and Solana tokens, shirts, some Shiba Inu, all kinds of artistic designs as well. Got some Wishbone shirts back in the day. Don't know if you guys remember that, but all kinds of cool stuff and designs you guys can check out. And feel free to check us out there on Etsy. The link will be in the description below. Anything you buy on there will help support this channel, and it's greatly appreciated. And thank you, as always, for checking us out here. And I hope that you guys are profitable and that you guys maybe took my buy recommendation from last week and are up 20-30% or like 25% right now, and are like, man, maybe I should be, thinking about selling, or you're not sure what to do. So hopefully this video helps you out and gives you a little bit of understanding, maybe where your mindset should be at, or where my mindset would be at least if I was holding from last week, buying around 32 or 28. And as always, this is not trading advice. This is just my opinion. Feel free to do it with it as you please. Have a great day, guys, and happy trading.